Well, welcome back, everybody, to Scott's Speed Shop. Jed Scott here, and today, well, I'm just going to be quite honest. We're going to be reintroducing a project car that most of you, in fact, even I have almost forgotten that I own. And that's because, well, it's been a few years since we've done anything on it, really, on the channel. Maybe because you've seen a badge, a bug.
Coming back to the shop, they say. There they are. Don't hit the tree. Oh, that was close.
And you've seen a satellite, and you've... duster.
Was it?
Yeah. So now, streetcar, duster streetcar. Now we get to move the race car, the other race car. Heck, you've even seen this white 66 Tornado. Battle of the Barges. And even our 1955 Dodge Turquoise Torpedo that we are currently in the midst of doing transmission work. We finally have all of the pieces to put this car together. Our big block 4-speed 1964 Dodge Polara 500. You know what? I think it's been covered up long enough. Oh, that is, I can't believe that. Literally, it took me a lot longer to get the car cover off, and actually, mostly what I was doing was sweeping up the floor so that way it didn't look as crappy, because it's, well, we have a floor now. It's so nice to see a perfect floor. Other than, you know, like the dirt and where the water's gotten in over the number of rainstorms it's survived through, but it still looks just as good as the day we left Dan's shop and came back here. And oh wait, you guys probably have never seen that clip where Ann and I were doing the Pour 15 session on the old Polara while we were doing it to the 300. You saw probably a glimpse of it in the 300 series if you watched it, but let's just take a stroll back in time and check that out. And it's amazing to me the car still looks pretty good, especially after all this time of sitting, dealing with me just being unmotivated from just a complete lack of interest because I had a lot of different people try and tell me how I ought to build it, instead of just listening to myself and doing it the way I've always wanted to do it, which is the way we're doing it now. So, without further ado, fellers and non-fellers, I hope that you're all caught up and that you're on board here because, well, I am eager to actually get this old girl put together. So we only have a few things left to do on this thing. Let me just get the hood open. One of these things is we have to remove our hood again because the boat anchor engine that's sitting in here just to give it weight, it needs to come out because it's sitting on our motor mounts that need to go onto our real engine that's going inside of this engine bay, which I'm going to show you here very shortly, along with everything else I've been working on for this old bad girl to get her in tip-top shape. Everything what was detailed, except for I'm going to repaint some of the fire. I'm going to paint some of the engine bay back up, but yeah, it's gotten kind of dusty. But the biggest holdup is just getting the dash done for this car because, well, I had it out because you can see all the wiring and all that hoopla. We wanted it out so that way we could take out the windshield gasket here, so way when Dan and Dave were fixing the cow over on that side, which if you guys don't remember, or you guys just never watched enough of the videos of this car, this used to be a giant hole where you could basically stick your head through it. None of this was here. Along with, well, the whole floor pan basically and the trunk pan. But the body is basically untouched. There's been a little bit of work to the quarter there. The lower quarter got a little bit of service, dog leg on the other side. You know, just a few little things. But overall, this old 64 Dodge is actually in really good shape. And unfortunately, I think I figured out the whole string of history with this car and why it never got done. And a lot of it just stems from guys taking the cheap road out of building it and trying to save some money, and it probably bit them in the old keister. And I think it's time I just go ahead and show you guys all the prettiness we got going on for the old 64 Dodge. So let's go check it out. And actually the very first thing I want to show you is in here in the barn still is the original 1964 first year for the 833, the original transmission to our 64 Dodge. And I decided to just paint it gloss black and put clear coat on it. And I'm pretty happy with that. We're keeping the original trunnion, all that stuff. I have the original drive shaft, everything in good shape. I want to keep this car kind of intact. I don't really want to molest the 4-speed parts. I kind of just want to put it together like it's supposed to be. You know, now that we're in the AC, we can take a minute and just breathe. And first give our thanks to that Jake sandblasting cabinet, because without that, there's a lot of projects that, well, actually this Polara thing would have probably bit me in the butt if I hadn't sandblasted some parts, which I'm going to show you just here in a second. Right after we all pay homage to the old twin plug pro stock Hemi, there you are. Just walk right past our beautiful engine there and our nice big box of parts. It's going to make this happen. So these three components may not look, you know, like a big deal, but this is definitely not the correct clutch fork pivot adjustment piece. Definitely not. And you can tell it's bent. This is the original ball stud and everything to the transmission. This is supposed to be like this. That's where your Z-bar connects onto. This goes into your clutch fork for adjustment. And well, as you see, like I said, it's bent. This piece right here, I had saw that it was brazed right here, and I was kind of concerned, so I asked around, and a lot of people said if these have been repaired, don't run them. And when I was blasting it, just to be very meticulous, I spied stress cracks all along that edge right there. And so I'm summarizing that when they were putting this car back together after the original 3D3 was blown up, because after the original HP 323 was blown up, and I'm imagining they were getting ready to swap in that 361 that used to sit in the car, which was just basically a short block that was a boat anchor. I have no idea why that was in there other than it was just maybe a cheap way to get it going again. Well, it's these hokey parts that I believe may be what stopped the progress, which is this guy, which was basically repaired already and then getting ready to fail again. This guy, which probably was straight when they put it on and bent almost immediately. This, I have no idea the reason why I grabbed it, but it's okay, it's the original. With our clutch fork. So this bolts on the inside of the bell housing, and there's a spring on the back side of this clutch fork that rides in here. Your throwout bearing hovers right there, which by the way is the one they had, which, well, let's just say this thing doesn't sound very healthy. So, and this is your adjustment rod for your clutch, that way you can adjust for wear. And well, if it's bent like a daggone, if it's bent like a pretzel, it ain't gonna do its job worth a dang. So once again, I was able to call up one of my old friends, Danny Brewer at Brewer's Performance, where they basically do everything and anything Mopar 4-speed. That's my instant go-to. I'm not sponsored by him, even though Danny did cut me a little deal, and I actually was really happy using Danny's new website. It's one of those times where a company actually got a new website, and it's truly better to use. I actually didn't want to call and bug him because I know he's so busy, and so I used the new website, built out my entire shopping cart. The only thing I was nervous about was my clutch disc because, well, I do have a history of breaking things with a 4-speed with a clutch, or breaking clutches, and, you know, kind of doing that kind of thing. So I'm glad I called Danny because he saw the clutch I had picked out on my small budget, and he said, And so he put together a little box there with all the parts I need, put the Polara 500 together correctly, so we don't have problems like the other guys. So, you guys ready? Let's dig into this box. Let's show you everything we got to have everything you're gonna need. And it's just, I'm glad and I'm very thankful that I can always rely on good folks like Danny to help me make the right choice. Yep, that looks like a winner to me. All right, McLeod, this is your chance. The last one of you we had was in Jezebel and the pressure plate exploded. This time though, I don't think the 400's putting out as much steam as Jezebel's 505, so this one ought to be okay. And inside of here, we've got just a plethora of goodies, and you can see how excellently packed everything is, which everything always is from these folks. But, oh, excuse me as I dig. There we go. So we have in these boxes, in an 833, you need to run proper GL4 gear oil in there, and this stuff you can buy from Danny or you can find online. In fact, actually, I priced it through Dan Brewer and then Amazon, of course, because Amazon's going to have it the cheapest and give it to you the soonest, right? Wrong. Very wrong, actually. In all seriousness, it was actually considerably cheaper to go to Brewer's, and it was quicker for me living in Kansas because they're just up in Ohio. It's not a very long drive for the old postman. So yeah, I got everything we're gonna need. So let me just get all these little boxes out of here, and let me just show you absolutely everything I got from the old folks at Brewers. Alrighty, so, come on, there we go. I had that pre-unboxed. It was not packed up that loosely. So I got all the hardware, all new clips, all new nylon bushings. Actually, we did get a new one of these. I forgot. Look at that. Reproduction from Brewers. Original. Yeah, that'll work. Sweet. And what do we got here? I'm betting this feels like a throwout bearing, if I had to guess. Oh. It's like Christmas, and actually it is July. There it is. Oh. Nice new throwout bearing for our 23 spline 4-speed. What else do we got in these packages? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And inside of mo, we have our clutch rod. This, I don't know what happened to it. It may have been missing from the car, but yeah, I couldn't find it. So Brewers, they had it, so I got another one. Because, well, I may have lost it, but yeah, now we have it again. And, oh, this one's light. Well, this is one of those times where I've got to be honest with you. I started out making this video. It's like, yeah, here's all the parts that are screwed up that I got to get that have really stalled out the Polara build. Well, guess what? I did. I ordered all this stuff, picked out all this stuff for Brewer. They sent me all of this stuff, a new seal, clutch boot, the actual correct clutch rod adjuster right here. This is one of those parts that I had basically, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, and that's what I had. So yeah, we can throw that piece of crap away. But there's one piece that's missing, and yeah, I didn't tell Danny I needed it, I guess. This guy. So I'm going to go hop on the Brewer's website. I'm going to get this guy on the way because, gosh darned it me. Got a throwout bearing, reverse light switch, gaskets, bolts, ball stud, got all sorts of, basically everything. Even got new little stainless steel clippies for the shifter for our original console 4-speed shifter. So yeah, I got everything but the one bracket that's out. The first thing I would recommend is you open up your preferred web browser and you're going to search Brewer's Performance. Click. And now we're going to go to Shop Online and we're going to select our category, 4-speed parts. It is in my humble opinion that on this page you will find absolutely everything and anything you could ever possibly want for your 4-speed conversion, rebuild, or just if you need to swap out some minor parts. The Brewers folks got it. And my hat's off to the fine folks at Brewers, because this new website they have made it extremely easy for me to pick out the correct clutch pivot, because as you can see on screen, there are so many different variations, and they get all these photographs to make sure we get the correct one. And rest assured, even if you are unsure about anything in your order like I just proved in this video, you can call the fine folks at Brewers and they'll be more than happy to make sure you get the right parts for your 4-speed. That was pretty simple, wasn't it, Athena? And just like that, we already got our bracket thanks to the good folks at Brewers and for having a really awesome website. And Athena does approve. Don't eat that. That wouldn't be good for your teeth, would it? So, once again, another big shout out to the good folks at Brewers. Just got a really awesome website. Absolutely anything and everything you could possibly need. So, let's get back to putting this Polara together. Alrighty. So, last piece of that puzzle. Now we're going to start putting this bad girl together with the 4-speed. And who knows? Is it going to have headers? Or HP manifolds? Thank you folks for checking out the video. And I'm really looking forward to getting to put my Polara together. And I know some of you are probably hoping to finally see that footage, because it's been a long old road. We've had a number of different projects like you've seen in this video that have just slowly kind of appeared and became things that, well, just had to get worked on, you know. Unfortunately, some things get put off to the side when new things come along, and you get cars that just happen to just have to wait their turn because you just don't want to make them into bigger projects than what they really are. And I'm sure a lot of you may be wondering, Jed, it's getting pretty close to September 19th, and you may be wondering right now, Jed, what in the heck is September 19th, and what is so important about it in that weekend? Well, one of our absolute favorite events to go to is called No Name Nationals. And if you ain't ever heard of it, well, I feel quite sorry for you, because it's a heck of an event. This will be the 4th year. We've been going since day one. We've had a blast every single year. And my absolute favorite thing is not the drag racing or the burnout competition or even all the super awesome cool YouTubers that you get to hang out with and see their cars they built for the event and meet their friends who may come along with them. It's truly an awesome event that John Wilburn and his team put on. And like I said, No Name Nationals. If you've never heard of it, you really ought to check it out. And there's plenty of videos out there on YouTube detailing what it's like. So for whatever my opinion is worth to you all, I think No Name Nationals, if Sikeston, Missouri is anywhere in the vicinity of you, I would highly recommend you come check out the event, because who knows who you're going to get to meet, who you're going to get to hang out with, and how much fun you're actually going to have. Because, like I said, Friday, September 19th through the 21st, it's next weekend, basically at the time of filming this. It's a 6-hour drive for us, more or less, 6.5 hours. It is worth every bit of the drive to go have fun and hang out with you guys and all my other internet buddies. So as always, guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for sticking through, those of you who did and have been staying up with the content and watching all the videos. I know you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you at No Name. James, I'm looking right at you, buddy. I want to see you again and shake your hand. Thank you again for all the help and support from every single one of you guys. It's cool getting to meet you. And No Name is one of those events that it's one of my favorites. As always, guys, look forward to seeing the next video. And I look forward to seeing, hopefully, more of you at No Name Nationals with Dad and his hot rod.
Bye-bye.
Hey ho, howdy everybody, Jet Scott here, and